Peter Fox, the Director of Youth and Student Ministries at Trinity Lutheran Church in Camp Hill, coming to you today with a message for the youth, for family, for friends, for parents, for congregation members. Got a message and a little carry out for you this week. In our youth group, we believe that everything begins and ends with prayer. For our opening prayer, we're going to do our youth group prayer, which is a call and response prayer. And the call is where two or more are gathered, and the response is you are there. So where two or more are gathered, thank you for allowing us to come together as we are and grow into who we are meant to be. Even though we come from different paths, let us unify with you as a family of unconditional love. Help us to experience this time to the fullest and make us genuine in all that we do. Amen. I want to share a little lesson with you today, and this is from a retreat I did with the youth group several years ago, all about lessons we can learn from Geese. And at that weekend, I went through 5 facts with them, and we based each session around one of those facts. I'm going to share 3 of those facts with you today, and then give you the teaching behind it with how it relates to us as human beings. Fact number 1. As each goose flaps its wing, it creates an uplift for the birds that follow. By flying in V formation, the whole flock adds 71% greater flying range than if each bird flew alone. The teaching with that is people who share a common direction and sense of community can get where they're going quicker and easier because they are traveling on the thrust of one another. So that's all about community. That's about us sharing common purpose and common direction. Fact number 2 that I want to lift up to you today is when the lead goose gets tired, it rotates back into the formation and another goose flies into point position. The teaching with that is it pays to take turns doing the hard task and sharing leadership. As with geese, people are interdependent on each other's skills, capabilities, and unique arrangement of gifts, talents, and resources. This ties in with the verse I shared with you last week from 1 Corinthians, that we rely on each other's gifts and talents and abilities, that each person is unique, but we come together as a whole. Fact number 3 that I want to lift up to you today is when a goose gets sick, wounded, or shot down, 2 geese drop out of formation and follow it down to help and protect it. They stay with it until it dies or is able to fly again. Then they launch out with another formation or catch up with the original flock. The teaching with that is, if we have as much sense as geese, we will stand by each other in difficult times as well as when we are strong. So that means we need to stay together and support one another and lift up one another. And I think that those 3 facts really speak to where we're at right now as a society and as individuals. So I wanted to lift those up to you today. I have a Bible verse that I wanted to share and then give you a little carry out to take home with you. So the Bible verse comes from Psalm 46, verses 10 and 11. It says, "Be still and know that I am God. I am exalted among all nations. I am exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge." Selah. Now first, I wanted just to talk about just the Bible verse and share a little bit about where that's coming from. This Bible verse reminds us that God is present with us. And He's present with us at work. He's present with us during the storms of life. He's reminding us that we can rest in His truth. This psalm talks about the amazing power of God and provides us with great comfort. The main thing that I wanted to point out with this Bible verse is the word at the end, which is Salah. Now, Salah is a word that scholars have argued about the meaning of. It appears in the book of Psalms 71 times, and in the book of Habakkuk, it appears 3 times. So 74 times in the Bible, this word Salah is used. And the best thing and most scholars agree that it means some kind of pause, some kind of rest. So they came with holy pause. So if we think about Salah in those terms of having a holy pause, time to stop, time to breathe, time to just be. So they thought of it as a worship direction, to have a holy pause, to stop, to rest, to just be. So that's what I'm going to ask you to do as my carryout for this week, is I want you to find a quiet spot, a quiet place. You're home with your family, and sometimes that can be just as hectic, trying to stay out of each other's faces all the time and all those things. So try to find 5 minutes to find a holy pause, to find a spot of refuge, a spot of rest, and away from other people. And I want you to listen in silence during that holy pause, during that rest time. And I want you to ask yourself these 2 questions. And the 2 questions are, how does it feel to be still? So meditate and think about how that feels to be still. And the second thing is, why do you think God asked us to be still? Why does God want us to take this time, to take this holy pause, this respite, this break, in order to just be? So ask yourself those 2 questions. Do that this week and see what comes to you from that time alone. I wanted to close in prayer because in YG, in our youth group, we believe everything begins and ends in prayer. So for our prayer, I'm going to close with how we close every youth group time together, which is with our YG mission. And our YG mission says, with unity in Christ, we will serve as disciples, proudly walking and sharing our faith as one body throughout the world, then, now, and forever. Amen. I will see you next week. Stay safe.